Hello, hello, my amazing Investivas and Investivos. Welcome to your Trading View setup video. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to set up your Trading View chart, how to adjust your settings, and I will also be reviewing common troubleshooting issues so that you can confidently navigate in your Trading View chart. So I'm going to share my screen and we will get right into TradingView. So this is the website TradingView. This is the website that we use to do all of our technical analysis. It is free. I do want to mention that TradingView will consistently run promotions. The promotion will come up as a big box and it makes you think that you have to upgrade in order to use TradingView. I'm here to tell you, you do not have to do that as this session was recorded. So at the moment, it is still free. If you do have a promotion come up, you're going to click the X to X out. It's going to be on the upper right hand of your screen. You're going to X out of that promotion. And then you're going to go into click on search and then go into a stock. One thing I want to mention is you do have to create an account. So you do have to have a basic free account and make sure that you're always signed in. As long as you're not clearing cash, you are going to consistently stay signed in. So any adjustments that you're going to be making today will auto save to your account. So just make sure you're always signed in. It's going to automatically save any adjustments that you make. So you can follow along with me. What we're going to do is we're going to go into a stock, let's say Microsoft. So you can either type out the full company name or the ticker symbol. The ticker symbol simply represents the company. So if you're unsure of what the ticker symbol is, you can simply Google it. So if I didn't know what Microsoft's ticker symbol is, I'm going to Google what is Microsoft's ticker symbol. So the ticker symbol for Microsoft is MSFT. We are going to then, once it comes up, we're going to click Launch Chart. So let me make some adjustments here and then I'll explain everything I'm doing. Let me take all this off. We're going to get into the specifics here. So number one, I like to review what are we seeing on this chart? A trading chart or an investment chart is simply representing the price that that stock has went. Now, typically investors will use a candlestick chart, and what that is every single candle is representing the price of the stock and where it went within that time frame. So the first thing I'm going to be reviewing is time frames. A very common question I get is you're going to see time intervals at the bottom here. I've done a lot of advanced trading techniques. I have never had to use these interval time frames, so you can ignore the ones on the bottom there. The time frames that you're going to be using are at the top here. If you are long-term investing, typically you will be looking at the daily, the weekly, and the monthly chart. Now, if you're in advanced groups like our accelerator group and you're doing more shorter term trading, then you will also potentially need the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart, or even some shorter intervals. Now, how I got these time frames to stay fixed to my screen at the top is you are going to star the ones that you use the most. So the second you star it, it is going to all unstar the 1 hour. See how that disappeared? And then I'll start again, reappears in my toolbar. So then you're customizing your toolbar based on the time frames that you use. Typically, we will always chart specifically our Fibonacci on the weekly chart if we're long term. And then again, once we're going into shorter term trading, then we are charting on shorter time frames. Next, we're going to go to settings. So the first place that you're going to go to is on your upper toolbar. It looks like a little bolt. this is the settings icon. So you're going to click on this. The first thing you can do is you can adjust the colors of the candles if you would like. Here at Investiva, you will see our red candles are typically purple. So you can adjust the color of the candles. This is purely preference. Next, you want to make sure that the time zone is correct. So you're just going to click on this drop down arrow here, make sure that you have the correct time zone selected so your chart is appearing correctly based on your time zone. Next, you can click scales and settings. Or no, where is it? Or wait. Hold on, I think they changed this. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is. So scales and lines. If by chance they still, when you open a brand new account, in my opinion, how they have the date formatted is very confusing. I think they have the day first and then the month and then the year. So you can adjust this in here under scales and lines. So I personally prefer the day and then the particular day of the month, or I'm sorry, the month, the day, and the year. That's how I like to see a date format. So you can adjust the specifics of the date format under scales and lines. And that is it for settings. So make sure do not close out. You're going to press OK. Now, if you're in our advanced trading, you may need access to after hours trading. And what that means is the market is open from 9:30 to 4 p.m. However, there are after-hour trading, and it is helpful in certain strategies when it comes to advanced trading. So in order to make sure that your chart is displaying the after-hours trading, you're going to go down here. You see here it says extended hours, or extended trading hours. And if it's potentially toggled on the regular trading hours, you're going to switch it to extended. So now we see truly what has happened even behind the scenes after the regular trading hours. Next, we're going to go over one of my favorites, tools and indicators. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you not only how to create a customized toolbar with your favorite tools, but also how to then go inside of these tools and these indicators and adjust the settings. So get ready. If you do have to pause this video at any time, feel free. If you watch me do something, then you can do it on your chart, pause, and then replay. So here are some, and I'm not going to go over all of these because you don't, some of these I use for teaching, but I will show you the common ones that many of our premium investors and accelerators use. So the first one that you can star is the horizontal line. So on this left side of your toolbar, you're going to click on the second icon and choose horizontal line. You're going to star it. The second you star it, you're going to see a customized toolbar like this pop up on your screen right here. Now, it can be anywhere. It might be hiding, so just look out for it. But you will see it pop up on your screen, and then you should see this one appear. Next, you're going to star, we're going to go to the third icon, and you're going to star your fib retracement. Next, you're going to go to the fourth icon. Well, this is technically the fifth icon, and you're going to star price range. And you can also star date and price range if you would like, and I'll demonstrate what that does. Again, this is preference. You may not even use these, but these are common tools that we like to use in our strategy. Now, as you see, these are on my customized toolbar. So we're going to go through each one of these and adjust the settings. Number one, this is fib. Now, I do want to go over how do we place the fib. You're going to click on the fib retracement icon and see how it turned blue. That tells me I have successfully clicked on that icon. So now I know I have control of that Fibonacci tool. In order to place it, and in our our trainings, you will have learned how to place the Fibonacci tool. You're going to, and I just want to go over how do we physically do this on the chart. So you're going to click at either dependent on the trend, if it's an uptrend, click on the bottom and drag to the top, or if it's a downtrend, click at the top and drag to the bottom. So we have an uptrend here. So we're going to click, drag. Now I have not clicked yet. I have not clicked a second time. I'm going to drag over so that my numbers or percentages are not over top of my candles. So I'm going to drag over and then I'm going to click. But I want to be clear that I am placing this Fibonacci on this trend. It doesn't matter that I've extended it. Like, see how this is the same. It's just I'm extending it over so that now the percentages are off of my chart. Because as you will see when you start technical analysis, we have a lot going on the chart. So we want to try to clear up any space so that we can see our tools and indicators clearly. Next, we're going to go into how to adjust the settings in Fibonacci. You are going to, let me get, this is kind of like along with troubleshooting, but I want to get into this because this is going to help you as you're doing this with me. This is an element of TradingView that I love. So you're going to go over to the right side of your screen. It's the third icon. I call it the sandwich icon because it's just easier to remember, but it's actually called the Object Tree and Data Window icon. So click on that sandwich and you're going to see this panel pop up. The reason I love this panel is we are going to eventually have a lot of things on our chart. And if we want to easily delete something, like say, I don't like this fib placement, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click remove. Also, this is one of my favorite elements of this panel is when we're trying to click on things on the chart, sometimes it can be confusing and we could be clicking on the candles instead of the fib or the candles instead of Ichimoku, things like that. So what this side panel does is it tells us exactly what we're clicking on and if we are successfully clicking on it. So if you see here, when I click on the fib, let's actually click away. So watch this side panel. When I successfully click on the fib, it turns blue. So then that tells me, okay, I successfully clicked on the Fibonacci. So now I can enter settings. If you accidentally click on the candles, then it's going to bring up the settings, the overall TradingView settings, not the Fibonacci settings. So this is going to help you identify what you're clicking on in order to access settings. So I know I'm clicking on the fib. I'm going to right click to bring this menu up, and I'm going to choose settings. Now, if you want to take a screenshot of this or pause the video, this is exactly how you're going to set up your settings. Number one, make sure trend line is checked. You don't have to have any particular color here. Actually, we could change it gray. It'll match then. So it doesn't matter. Any color for the trend line, that is that horizontal or diagonal dotted line. Factory settings for Fibonacci are going to include additional levels. You only need these levels. So you're going to uncheck any level that is not 0, 382, 618, and 1 on the left. And you're going to uncheck any level that is not 236, 50%, and 786. As you see here, I have highlighted my golden zone. If you are in our triple compounding system accelerator group, you know what the golden zone is. I like to color it a particular color so that I can identify when price is entering that golden zone. You don't have to match mine specifically. I like kind of the rainbow effect. It's whatever you prefer. So how you're going to change your colors is you're going to click on the color, choose the color you want. And when you're done choosing your color, click on this white back screen to then get out of that option. Same for this. Choose the color, click on the back screen to get out. Next thing you're going to do is adjust your background. So you can watch my Fibonacci. See how when I adjust this, it gets darker and lighter? So you can do this again. This is preference. I do like a little bit of a background because it helps me differentiate the levels or the zones, but this is preference and you can set it how you prefer. Next, you're going to adjust this section. It's called labels. I believe it's auto set to left. You're going to now choose right. And for, I believe it's set at bottom or middle, you're going to choose top. What this is doing is it's bringing like, watch my values here, my percentages. When I choose left, it's over left, but that's on top of our chart. And that's why I choose right. And when I'm placing my Fibonacci, I'm then extending it beyond the chart. So it's not over top of my candles and my Ichimoku cloud, etc. And that is it for Fibonacci. Last step, do not forget this. You're going to click on the little down arrow here, template. Do not click apply defaults. It's going to erase everything you've done and it's really frustrating. Click on save as. Now, as you see, I have a million, I've demonstrated this a lot and save it all the time. So save it whatever you want, name it whatever you want, and then press OK. And then, as I said, your settings will save. So every single time you're signed into your TradingView account, your Fibonacci is going to be set to these settings. I also get a very common question about how to duplicate the fib, and I am going to go into this since we are on the Fibonacci. This goes along with troubleshooting. I will get into this a little deeper at the end, but we can take our screen on and off auto. And what that means is auto is basically taking the data that TradingView sees and kind of adjusting it and fitting it into the screen. But if you want to have full control, so it's great, by the way, for troubleshooting, like getting things into focus. But if we want to have full control of our chart and actually like look at above where the price is and set duplicate fibs above the current Fibonacci, we need auto off. So you're going to uncheck. See how this is checked? You're going to uncheck auto, and now I have full control of my chart. This is how I duplicate fib, and I'm kind of old school. So I know some will like copy and paste the fib. This is what I like to do. I like to just click fib again. I will go to the bottom, drag to the exact top. So I'm duplicating it. I'm making a buddy next to it. Then you're going to click on this dotted line, bring it up top, and I like to make it match. All right. I haven't gotten rid of all of my perfectionism. Okay. I'm getting there. So this will then allow you, if potentially, now this isn't a good example. I mean, we could potentially duplicate a fib if we wanted additional sell limit ideas, but we're typically using this strategy if price is close to an all-time high. And if we assume that the stock is going to continue in that same trajectory, then we can duplicate the fib we just made, and then we can get additional areas to sell. Now, I want to go over this. We added the horizontal line to our customized toolbar. When we're looking to buy and sell stocks, I'm going to take this away so it's not confusing. When we're looking to buy and sell stocks, actually, you know what? Let me add that in because I do want to show. So there's a back button, by the way. If you do anything that you regret, you can reverse time on TradingView. So when we're finding areas where we want to buy and sell, we then want to set a horizontal line so that TradingView then lets us know what that exact price is. So what we do at Investiva is any areas where we're going to buy, we're going to make, so I clicked on this horizontal line, it's blue, so I know I checked it. And then say I do want to buy at this level here, I'm going to place my horizontal line there. And in order to change the color, you're going to click on this crayon. So by the way, if I click off, like if I click the back screen, the settings for the line is no longer there. You have to click on the line again. See how that popped up again? So now I can change the color. And our buy limit order ideas are always set at a purple color here in Vestiva. You can choose whatever color is best for you. For sell limit ideas, we are going to do the same thing. Click where we want the sell limit order to be, and then change the color. And then it's the same. I just wanted to show for duplicate. So if, say, Microsoft was trading up here, typically I like to choose some areas in the golden zone, maybe an area closer to current market price for a level that it would potentially pivot off of. That would be shorter term strategy. So you're going to place your lines based on your strategy and then color them accordingly. So that is how we use Fibonacci and all of the settings. Next, I want to go over the price range tool. So especially if you're in our advanced trainings, we do use the price range tool to learn about our stock and really get an understanding of the personality of our stock. Now, I'm going to use Microsoft as an example here. How you can use the price range is this is charting the percentage increase or a decrease that the stock went. So say that we want to get to know Microsoft and its typical pullback percentages. So let's take this downtrend, for example. This is at 27%. Now let's take this downtrend. That's at 24%. So how I'm doing this is, again, you're focusing on trends and you're going to know how to identify trends with the training, but you're picking trends based on your strategy and then you're measuring the percentage using this tool. So I'm going to click, drag, and again, I'm going over because I like it to be, I kind of like to make them all the same width again. Can't help myself. So you can just make it whatever width you want. And when you're at the bottom of that trend, you're going to click. Typically with Fibonacci, price tool, any indicator tool that I'm adding to my chart, I do prefer to go wick to wick because that is more accurate representation of price action, but you can always adjust, especially with Fibonacci, to look for key psychological levels. But for price, you are going to typically go from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick to measure trends. One thing I forgot to review, and I want to do this quick, is when you are practicing learning how to identify trends, how to identify key psychological levels, you have the option up here. You see on our upper toolbar, this is the candle chart. You can switch this to a line chart, and this really helps with identifying trends and key psychological levels. Keep in mind, this is smoothing out the price, so it's not as accurate. When I'm placing my Fibonacci, I prefer candles because we're getting that accurate reading. When I'm placing the price tool, accurate reading. But when you are practicing identifying trends and key levels, this is an amazing resource. So I just wanted to mention that you can switch it to the line chart. So we went over Fibonacci, how to use our horizontal line, the price tool. This very quickly is the date and price range. So say I wanted to measure this downtrend, what percentage, and then also how long this took to drop. So we see here it dropped 23%. And 133 days, I just go to ChatGPT and I say, how many months is 133 days? Like, I'm not about to do math. But this is going to give us not only the percentage, but also the time lapse as well with that trend. Next, so we have covered tools. Next, we're going to get into indicators. So I'm only going to go over our commonly used indicators. We have the Ichimoku Cloud and RSI. Now, again, factory settings, I'm going to take off RSI here. Factory settings, I believe, is still volume. So when you first open your TradingView account, you're going to have volume at the bottom of your screen. You can, again, this is where you're going to use your side panel. You can trash that. Some investors do use volume in their strategy. I'm not saying don't use it, but In order to use the free version, you can only use up to 2 indicators, I believe. So if you want to use more than that, you would have to upgrade. In order to have this customized list here, you are going to type in Ichimoku and you're going to star Ichimoku. You're going to type in RSI and you're going to star relative strength index. So now you're going to have a customized, and you can, as you're going through your investing journey, you'll probably pick up on indicators that you like to use. You can star them and then they can be here for you. So first we're going to look at Ichimoku and adjust settings. Again, how do I know if I'm clicking in order to adjust settings? It highlighted on the right here. So you're going to right click, settings. Now, I personally don't use the lagging line. There's so many indicators and tools. I don't personally integrate it into my strategy. That doesn't mean that you don't have to, but if you decide you don't want to use the lagging line, you're going to uncheck that. The two important lines that we have, by the way, these leading span A and B is the top and the bottom of the cloud. You can leave them as is. The conversion line is our turn line. So that is a color. You can pick any color that you like. I have not found the color I love yet. I'm always changing it, but any color that you like, and you're going to choose the second thickness. Baseline, this is important. This is going to be all the same across the board. You're going to choose black for your baseline. Baseline is always black. And the third thickness. So you want to make sure that that baseline is thicker so you can identify it in reading the cloud. Next, you're going to click on the down arrow, save as default. You don't have to name it anything, and then press OK. And now every time that you add your Ichimoku cloud, these settings are going to save. And that's it for Ichimoku Cloud. If you're a premium investor accelerator, you know how to read it. So that is how you add this cloud to your chart. RSI, one option for RSI is you can take out the moving average line. So RSI comes with a moving average. And again, you can integrate this into your strategy. I personally take it out because again, if I want to use a moving average, I actually apply it directly to my chart and I don't really integrate it with RSI. But with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into settings on RSI and see how we have the MA here. If I check it, that yellow line comes up. If I uncheck it, it's removed. So this is preference, and this is the only adjustment I make with RSI. The rest you keep the same factory settings. But if you want to take out that moving average, you can. It is completely up to you. I'm not going to save an OK because I want mine to stay the same. But again, the process is save as default, name it, and OK. Or if it doesn't ask you to name it, just save as default. So that is our settings and how to use them. Now, I believe we're going to get into troubleshooting. Troubleshooting, oh my gosh, this is so needed because trust me when I say when I first started using TradingView, I would get lost like I was just somewhere deep in the forest. I would be like, where am I on the chart? It was insane. So trust me when I say it gets better with time. One thing I want to say is if by chance it ever zooms in to the point where you cannot see your side panels anymore, like any options, you do have to go to right back up to your URL, type in TradingView again to go back into TradingView and then pull up your chart because I have not found a solution to that. If you do not have access to basically zooming in your chart in and out because you lost your panels, you just have to go back in and out. So I do want to mention that. One of my favorite magical buttons is, and I alluded to this when we were going over Fibonacci, is the auto button. So if you ever kind of zoom in too far, or things just look wonky on your chart, like for instance, look, we can't see the rest of Microsoft here. This is on the weekly chart. If I press auto, it's going to reset the screen so I can see everything better. But keep in mind, if it's on auto, you don't have full control of your chart, right? So it's not going to, and by the way, how I'm doing this is I'm clicking on the back screen and I'm holding and then moving around. So then you have full control of your chart. So the auto button is amazing for resetting the chart. Now I personally zoom on my trackpad. I have a MacBook, or what do I have? I don't even know. I forget, but it's a laptop, a Mac. So I have a trackpad and I use my trackpad to zoom in and zoom out. But you can also use the side panels to zoom in and out as well. So if I click on this price panel here and drag down, see how it's uh, basically bringing in my chart horizontally. And then if I want to go opposite, we're going to extend the chart and zoom out. Again, I'm going to click on the side and go up. So down to condense, up to extend. This is going to be very important or helpful. You're going to go down to the date panel in order to actually zoom in and out to the candles. I don't know how to express this. Like we're zooming in and out horizontally and then zooming in and out, I guess, vertically. But you'll see this when I click and drag left, see how I can now see the candles a lot better. I'm zooming in. So you're going to click and drag left to zoom in, click and drag right to zoom out. So now I can see more of the personality of the stock. So when I'm charting on the weekly, I like to see an overall personality of the last couple years, but I also want to see what is price action doing right now? What are the lines doing? What is the cloud doing? So you want to be zoomed in so that you can see what's happening currently, but then also get a good understanding of, okay, what has the chart been doing over the last couple years? Because we're going to integrate that into our strategy when it comes to patterns and things like that. So that is the zoom option. I already went over the sidebar here, and this is very helpful. It's going to help you navigate very quickly. Say that, like you saw me in the beginning, I had all this stuff on my chart and I very quickly just deleted everything. So it's a really great tool when it comes to having control over the chart and knowing what you're clicking on and deleting things as well. I mentioned the back button, but also if you ever say that, oh, here's the last tip. So this is a common question. So you can actually write on your chart. And again, if you're in our advanced trading courses, we do have for swing trading example, for example, you can list your trading based on what your strategies are. So say you purchase a stock on a certain date, you can actually document this on your chart. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seventh one down. You're going to star the text. You're going to click on this T and then click on the back screen and see how now I can start typing. If you don't type and you click again, it's going to disappear. You're going to have to click on it again, click on the back screen, and then the text is going to appear. Now I had to get fancy with this. I changed my background color to black and my text color to white. Also, you can set this visual order bring to front. So if potentially it's over top of some candles, you're still going to see your text. I like the black to white because again, there's a lot on our screen and it just helps me kind of see the text. So then say whatever I want to put, like Microsoft, long-term hold, bought X on X date, things like that, right? So you can document anything that you want on the chart itself and keep in mind, it's always going to be here unless you delete it. Now, what if I accidentally delete this and I have all this stuff and I'm like, oh my goodness, panicking, just hit the back button. I also want to mention you are going to be able to see the text differently based on time frames because when you switch to, say, a shorter time frame, it zooms in and then you can't see your text. So what I recommend is typically I will put my text on the monthly chart or the weekly chart. So it's a longer term view. And then when I zoom into daily, I don't necessarily need to see my text. Maybe I'm looking at shorter term signals. And then when I go back to my longer term, actually, this is a great example. So see how I went back to the weekly, but I could not see my text. I had to zoom out in order to find it on the chart. So keep in mind, and if you want to zoom out, you're going to go right in this bottom date panel. So it could be kind of lost on the chart. If you see text on your right-hand panel here, you know the text exists. It's just somewhere lost on your chart. If you go to the monthly, it's going to make it even easier to find it because we have less, it's zoomed in less, so then you can see your text and you can find that more readily. And that is it. Trading View, walkthrough. Thank you so much for joining. And again, if you're a premium investor accelerator, as always, reach out if you have any questions. I hope this brings clarity. I know you all will gain confidence over time. Trust me, it just takes time. And as always, happy investing. Bye.